We're good?
Yeah.
We can start talking?
Of course.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another edition of Garage Studio Modelers. This is my good friend,
Harvey Lowe.
and I'm Dave Forrest. And in today's episode, we're going to continue working on the Edward Messerschmitt 109K and go through some panel line washes on a gloss coat. So that'll be kind of what we're going to do in today's episode. And this build has been dragging a little bit
Because let's try some new Edward decal type.
Oh my God! Yeah,
right.
Let's talk.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Edward decals for a minute before we get into the actual techniques of it. So here's my thoughts on Edward decals. I think the bigger ones, if you wanted to remove the film, you can. But just got to make sure they go down very, very well. But even doing that for these crosses, so for decals or decals, we always go for this. Let's say decals. So for decals that have very little surface area in terms of the actual print itself, they're a little bit. I find them to be a little bit fragile when you're lifting. Now maybe that's user error. That's entirely possible.
It's possible.
But like for example, for the top crosses, I actually have to touch one up with. Actually, I used one of those new AK markers to touch up the white.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
wow.
So that was actually that's a good application for them. But that's another episode. But I heard now we were at the Nats.
Yes, we were.
And we'll have Harvey put together a nice video, right?
Coming up
soon.
And an episode Robert and us will work on.
Yeah. So we'll look forward to that. And Edward was there, so they were probably one of the key vendors at the show. The Nats are really an aircraft show. Is that fair?
I would say.
Like there's lots of other stuff. There's lots of cars.
Send in the comments. No. But but it is, right? It is.
Yeah.
It traditionally has been.
Like strong representation of an aircraft. Yeah. Armor was good this year.
Armor was good.
I thought. The armor was good representation.
And the best in show was sci-fi.
It was sci-fi, yeah. So I thought I enjoyed it. Madison was a beautiful venue.
It was. So stay tuned for that. But it was a great show, and I think it was one of the best venues out there. We'll talk about the Nats for sure, but a shout out to Jeff Hearn. I think that the venue and his crew. I think I've been to maybe a dozen nationals, and I think that venue was the best. Of all, and with all due respect, because it's joined the parking if you could get it.
Yeah, but even if you weren't at that hotel,
it was all just across the street,
right?
Secondary,
just right across. So it was so great job through the organizing committee of the Nats.
Yeah, and a lead in for this because you kind of screwed up on the decals. Don't even bring this to Virginia. No. It's just my opinion. No. I'm not trying to be mean. But,
no, I wouldn't. I mean, you could bring it to the show, but you're probably not going to place because there's going to be other things that are going to.
Yeah,
anyway.
We can talk about that.
But okay, so the whole we kind of went round and around there, but Edward was there. Now I should have asked them, hey, what's the deal on the decals?
Oh my God!
I should have asked them, but I didn't. But I heard in the comments because people were there's a lot of social media activity, and somebody said that they did ask the question, and Edward said, hey, don't take off the carrier film. It's not meant to be taken off.
What?
That's what I said.
What?
Yeah. They said don't. Somebody Edward said don't take it off.
That's news to me. That's news to me.
So all I have to say though is that I think. If you want, you can take off, but there's always a risk that you're going to peel off some of the underlying decal, and you're going to have to touch it off. Huh. I wouldn't do so. The stencils, the smaller decals or decals, I wouldn't do. I would just leave them as is. They settle down pretty nicely
with the carrier film on it.
No, the problem is the carrier film is a little bit bigger.
Okay, and you can't see it.
It's kind of.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Doesn't it kind of okay?
Now, would I use like cartograph or microscale decals? Or like a good quality aftermarket that if I had the option, I would say, because that's a safer, tried and tested method. So I think these can go down without peeling them up. They look pretty good. They go down very well with microsud and microsol. You can use some of the stronger decal setting solutions if you want.
But I mean, ultimately though, if you really want to avoid all this, obviously the best is stencils and masking. I mean, right?
Yeah, but
for smaller scale, that's pretty hard. They have them in 32nd scale by a new company. The name slips me. I sent you a link.
Oh, the First Man Army or something.
Yeah, something like that. But they're for mostly 32nd scale.
Yeah, those are beautiful.
They're really nice. Yeah, I'd use them. Yeah. I'm thinking of getting the set on the 190. But yeah, that would be the ultimate. But on smaller scales,
Yeah, or on 70, like what do you do for 72nd?
yeah.
Like, you know, Edward has a substantial.
No, the only thing you can
72nd
mask in
range.
72nd is Hinamurus.
Yeah,
That's
really.
about it.
So, yeah, so you can peel them off if you want. The problem is the other disadvantage to peeling them off is invariably you damage the finish. Like I had to retouch up the finish here because I damaged it with the sharp blade I was trying to get the decal up with. You can use solvent like a odorless thinner to dissolve it and it balls up, but there's risk with that too.
So just leave the carrier film on. I never heard that.
Yeah, I would just because they go down nice.
Okay.
I mean, it's a little bit thicker if you want. Like maybe trim the carrier film a little bit, maybe.
Yeah.
You know, get it closer if that's what you're going to do.
Okay.
But yeah, so I think in future would I peel them again? I don't know. I don't think so.
I don't know. Just I haven't used them, but I just thought that if you peel them, doesn't it kind of defeat the whole purpose of? Do you know what I mean? Decals at a ridge. Can you see the ridge of the felt, of the carrier felt? Do you know what I mean?
If you don't peel them?
Yeah, if you don't peel them, well, you still see a little ridge.
There is, yeah, like anything. But
Right?
it's,
So
it's
then-
no. I don't think it's any worse than
Right.
the other ones.
Right.
So you kind of
So-
back to square one.
That's
So
what I'm
anyway, so
saying.
that's a
With all
long.
due respect.
It's a long diatribe on,
Uh-huh.
on Edward decals,
On decals.
but they're thin. They go down very nice.
Yeah.
They're in terms of the decal itself, I think they're like cartograph quality.
Yeah.
But you can peel them if you want, and some people do, and they swear by it, and then it really gives like the reward side of that equation is that it looks like you painted on,
Right.
So it looks very authentic and painted
But
on.
then, like any finish, you get a superior gloss finish. Because I've seen your stuff; it's just superiorly smooth. You put decals on, you won't see them right after you do the usual method of applying a decal over an extremely gloss surface.
Yes, exactly. So again, why risk damaging either the underlying surface or the decal itself?
Because we were judging at the Nats. I was judging the aircraft at the Nats, and we got done pretty quick because I was on a very good judging team, very experienced. And that's all you're looking for, first cut. We can have a separate conversation. We talked about contest.
Oh,
judging.
1, 2, 3 judging. Oh,
Well,
ruthless.
it's ruthless,
Yeah, it has
and
to
it's
be.
all fit and finish. There's I'll say it. You can send the comments, but there's very little scope of effort. Like you go to the UK, everybody opens stuff up, right? Here, the first cut is fit and finish. That is what we're told to do.
Yeah.
So if you have a little nick on that decal, even though you scratch built that entire engine, it does not matter.
Yeah.
I don't know whether I agree with that, but there you go. And
Well,
so you better watch.
but at least it's something. It's a rule to judge to.
It's a rule, yeah.
I mean, you may not agree with the rule,
Yeah.
but at least it's a rule.
I would say, well, we'll go to another diatribe, but I would say that it needs to be slightly modified to account for the type of model. Is it like Italeri and Tamiya have a huge advantage over A model, right? A person who builds an A model, you're going to have a huge disadvantage.
Just enter into me and
look at the stats.
Why would you?
Yeah, the stats show that mostly Tamiya
Why
and
would you risk anything else?
you're not going to risk it, right? Anyways, that's another.
And it's true. Like the same thing in armor, right? Like the Pieces I did well with were Tamiya,
Tamiya,
Tamiya, Azuka.
If you want to compete, I'm just saying, not everybody's into competing. But if you want to do well at the Nats, you start with a Tamiya and Edward kit. Don't even go with an A model or, with all due respect, something Eastern.
Well, but then it comes back, and we're going to get into a judging discussion, but then it comes back to the experience of the judges, which is why you need to have judges that build, that are experienced, that understand, how the underlying model contributes to the overall difficulty of the build, right?
Yeah. Because then all you're really encouraging is, with all due respect, Tamiya and Edward at national shows.
Yeah, you think I would, like, if I was going to enter an aircraft, I ain't entering anything else other than Tamiya or Edward.
If you're into competing.
And that's newer Edward, not even the older stuff.
That's right. Just saying.
Newer Edward.
Now I'm just saying, I've been around the circuit for about 12 years, so I don't know. Maybe
but that's the expectation.
It's the expectation.
And that's the beauty of the parallel of 1, 2, 3 is that you have to be brutal, especially for a loaded category.
Yeah, but then open judging. If you go to a real open judging, we're on judging now. It's not easy if it's done well to get a gold. They're not giving out golds, right? So
depends.
Yeah, it's a show.
It depends on
It's a show.
It's a show.
Anyways, but that comes back to this: if you nick it, you're out.
Yeah.
Seriously, you're out.
Yeah, chances
You are out. Tiny little
Lock in
sliver.
place. Yeah.
They're going to look at that. Oh, that's missing a tiny.
Unless you can really hide it.
Yeah.
But then it's more work to hide.
But it's the nature of the nationals competition.
Yeah. But I like it. I'm a fan of 1, 2, 3, right? Because it's really, it's doggy dog, but it's it's the best of the best. So anyway, getting back to this. So we'll get ready, and I'm gonna throw some washers on. I did part of the aircraft already, so I can kind of show you what it looks like after, and we'll get going on it. Okay, so for doing the panel line washes, and the nice thing about the Edward kits is that there's a lot of rivet detail as well. So I find the best thing to do, well, first of all, you're going to need a few things. So you're going to need a makeup sponge or tissue paper, something to remove the wash. You're going to need some oil paint. And I like to use, I have these oil brushes here, and for this particular, so it varies from model to model, but for this particular model, I think what's going to work is a combination of black and Starship Filth. And Starship Filth is a great, it's kind of like a
brown,
gray browny color that I think is great, but it's a little bit too light in and of itself, particularly for the upper camouflage colors. So I add a bit of black to it.
Like you mix them?
Yeah, you mix them. So I just got some in the...
Oh, and by the way, for the viewers, these I get from the local drugstore for makeup, right? Makeup.
Well, I just got them for my wife's makeup drawer.
You steal them?
I steal them. So Carolyn's good that way. And then odorless thinner. Now, I really strongly recommend odorless thinner. The reason for that is that it's the mildest of the enamel thinners.
It is.
And less risk of damaging the underlying surface. But that's why you gloss coat everything. So just to go back to the decals, so I put all the decals on. I either peeled or didn't peel. And then I put another thick gloss coat on top of the decals to seal everything. Because you got to seal them.
Yeah, yeah. And by the way, the harshest of these is the Humbrol. Right? The Humbrol enamel is the harshest on the other side, just FYI.
Yeah, which I never use.
Well, I use it all the time.
You're a harsh kind of guy. So in my palette, I've mixed a little bit of the black and the Starship Filth. I just add a few drops of the thin, because you really want to create more of a sludge, not so much a wash.
Not a wash.
No.
Oh, yeah.
And then I'm going to mix these up. And create a nice dark brownish gray sludge. Right?
It is dark brown, gray. Yeah, I love these oiler brushes.
Yeah, they're convenient.
They're really neat. The only thing they're very tipsy.
Yeah.
But hey,
they're convenient. Now you can use standard oil paints, but I would put them on a little bit of cardboard just to suck the linseed oil, and just so you get a matter finish with it.
Yeah, I do like Winsor Newton, but again, these are pre-mixed to the colors that you want.
I was like, where are my glasses? And they're like right hanging.
I mean, under your model looks like that.
Oh my goodness.
There you go.
So I did do one side. Now, if you're like me and you have a house where you have a couple of cats, the cat hair gets everywhere, so you just got to be careful of it. So it's kind of hard to tell on the upper surface on the camera, but so if you look at the upper camera, this side is done, this side isn't, and to my eye I can tell, right? Because you can see the lines there, and you can see a little bit of the rivet deal, not too much, but that's okay. Like for me, you don't want the rivets really pronounced because then it just doesn't look, in my eye, doesn't look realistic. This side isn't done. If I flip it over, I think there's more of a stark contrast. So this side is done. So you can see the wash. You can see more of the rivet detail because it's a lighter color. It's the RLM 76. This side isn't done. So let's start with the underneath. Now I like to work on a towel just because of to protect the finish and not break anything off. I typically won't, like if there's any break, like I won't put the landing gear on now, right? Because if there's anything that can break.
I do that too.
And I've had enough trouble with these flaps here. Like I got to fix this, and then I'm amazed I haven't broken this.
That's true, eh? And no matter how many times I always break them.
Yeah,
always break any protrusions on, especially the Italian aircraft. All those little counterweights on the flaps. They always break when I handle them. So if you do them at the last bit, then
exactly. So I broke it too many times. Them, right? So I'm just applying this on. What I'm doing is just working it in to make sure it gets into all of the rivet detail as well.
So you're only going in the areas, not over the whole thing.
No.
Right? Because I find that if I do the whole thing, it changes the tint of the model.
A little bit.
Right?
A little bit. Now I'm going to do all of it because there's lots of detail here. And I haven't, like, there's wing balances that go, I haven't put them on yet because for sure those would break off. Just make sure there aren't any rivet detail missing here. I'll go over here, do all this, get it. And really you're just kind of working it in. And because you've gloss coated, so you can really put copious amounts on. And it looks terrible, but again, it's all going to come off. So I can see right away, I can see the rivet detail starting to pop.
Mm-hmm. Because it's sinking in the recesses.
Yeah.
Did you do the fuselage? Yeah, you did.
I did the fuselage, yeah. I was practicing last night, getting ready for...
I don't practice. You have to practice,
but
I don't know. I'm just saying.
I'm not that good. There you go.
And by the way, while Dave's doing that, we do read all the comments. We may not have the time to get back to them all, but thanks to the viewers for the comments. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, we do. We love the engagement. Oh yeah, and then let's do the same thing on the tail plane here. What do you call these things? Tail planes?
Horizontal stabilizers.
Horizontal stabilizers. Thank you.
Come back to building armor, why don't you?
You can tell.
What is this? Is this a return roller, or is it a...
What do we call this? A fuselage?
I don't know. I just build models.
I just build tanks.
Yeah, you can use this method on armor too. You use it on anything, sci-fi.
Well, the problem with armor though is that there's just too many.
There is
surfaces.
A lot, yeah. But I used this technique when I did the Millennium Falcon. Check out the oldish editions.
It's kind of a plane in space.
Yeah, it is.
So we'll let that dry. So I'll accelerate that with a hairdryer, but I'll do that off camera. And then we'll remove it, and then we'll attack the upper surface.
And by the way, good point, Dave, because a lot of people put this on and they go at it right away. You do have to let it dry a bit.
Because it makes it easier. And the reason, that's a great point. So the reason why you let it dry, I feel, is that if you remove it wet, you're gonna pull a lot of off. You're gonna pull it out of the panel lines. You're gonna pull it out of the rivet detail. If it's dry, it has a better chance of staying.
Now, if you don't have a hair dryer, I let mine dry for an hour.
Yeah, that's what I did last night.
Need. That's all you need. Unless, like Dave, you have a hair dryer. It's just you have a hair dryer. You have to be careful on the power of the hair dryer because you just blow the stuff off. So put it on a low setting, okay? But I let mine dry for about an hour.
Yeah, you can let it air dry, but for the sake of expediency, we'll throw the hair dryer on. Okay, we'll be right back. Okay, so I hit it with the hair dryer for a few minutes. And again, you have to be careful. Don't get too close to the hair dryer.
And too hot, right? Do you put it on cool?
No, I have it on hot, but I keep it up here.
Yeah.
Right. I just wave it.
Especially on resin. Don't use a hot.
Well,
you do it on resin.
I don't do resin.
Yeah.
I don't do resin.
Yeah, whatever. Some people have issues. Anyways, okay, go.
So now that it's dry, let's go and start. Now, why a makeup sponge? You can use Q-tips, but I just want to make a sponge.
I like them too.
Yeah, it's flexible. So
and plus, it's flat. If you use a Q-tip, it's kind of round and it leaves hairs.
Yeah, exactly. You got it. It's the hairs that I don't like.
How's it going? Does it work?
Yeah, it's coming off. So, I mean, the conventional wisdom is to kind of pull it back in the direction of the airstream.
Yeah. Just
so that if you get any incidental streaking, and that's why you work on a cloth.
Now, I find that if you've got a piece of sponge like that's too big, you can always cut them.
You can always cut them, yeah.
Right.
But the nice thing about this is it has those corners.
Yeah, it does.
That's why I love the triangular ones. Mm-hmm. I'll have to get Carolyn to go buy some more.
On her dime.
Of course.
Yeah.
Comes out of her budget.
Yeah, really. I mean, they should do
That's
something
right.
supportive. You know?
That's right.
I'm going to get a lot of email comments on that one.
We're done. It's a good thing she doesn't watch these,
Yes.
typically. So see how quick that is?
Let's see. Not bad.
You know?
Yeah, not bad at all.
And the nice thing about this is if you're not happy with it, you can just go over it with all this thinner and start over. You get some nice, a little bit of streaking.
I think it's necessary now. You can't leave a model without that. If you really want to add, well, you could. Yeah, everybody builds to their own satisfaction, but it does add a bit.
Sure it does.
And that works very nice with the modulation underneath. Gives very much an interest.
Yeah, it just adds another layer.
Mm-hmm.
That's all about. I find the successful finishes is really just about layering.
It's all layering, yeah. Mm-hmm. Regardless of subject matter.
Yeah.
Ships,
planes,
cars. Yeah, and especially interiors of car seats and things like that. We got to do. I got to do something on car finishes. We got to cater to some of the auto guys, and I do have a few.
They're tough.
They are.
Now you see, I'm wiping against, but
I notice you're using the same one now. If you were to do this on your own, would you swap up the sponges?
No.
No. Okay.
Yeah. I used this one
just different
last night.
angles. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, eventually it'll get too dirty.
Yeah.
And then you gotta move on. But
looks great.
so there's a couple of areas and that's the nice thing. So some tissue paper here. So I'm just gonna clean the brush off. So with a bit of a damp brush, I can go in and you can just fix. Okay, I got this little stubborn thing here.
Yeah, I do that too.
Right, that'll come off.
And add a little more where you need it.
Create a bit of a clean spot. A little bit there. That takes care of that. All right, like maybe. No, actually, I'm pretty happy with that. I don't know if I want to muck with it. Oh, maybe here a little bit. A little stubborn area in there.
Now, what I find I like doing when you're doing this step is you could add little spots of this liquid as almost fuel stains here and there too, and work them in that way too.
Don't tell me what to do.
Okay. I'll just be quiet on the sideline.
Yeah, no, you could.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, absolutely. Or even I don't know if I'd do it here, but on an armor, if there was, if you wanted to create splatter.
Yeah.
You could do a little bit of splatter.
Yeah,
right? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sure,
using the same liquid, just don't wipe it off.
Yeah. Exactly. There we go. Oh, now we got to do the. What do you call these? Horizontal stabilizer?
They're called return rollers, dude.
Return rollers?
Mm-hmm. Now, the other thing, too, when you're doing this, you always have to watch your other wing, and that it's got to maintain the same consistency, right? Otherwise, it looks uneven.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah,
otherwise,
sure.
you have to make sure it's balanced.
You do. Yeah. And so I look at that.
Not bad.
And I think it looks pretty good.
I think so.
It's consistent.
Yeah, that's an honorable mention for sure.
Not even.
Well, it's beautiful.
Okay, so let's flip her over, as it were, and let's do the top, which is here. See that the days of that pitot tube are numbered. So again, same sludge.
And so you did the other starboard wing, right?
Yeah. Is that what you call it? Starboard for the right?
Right side, yes.
Is that what you call it? Now I might add a bit of black to the upper, just to make it a little bit darker, because you're dealing with darker colors. And I'll just go in and...
Oh yeah, right. You're adding more black, yeah.
Just mix it.
You can see the difference between one wing that's done and the other that's not.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's hard on the camera.
Yeah, but you can see it in person. There's a huge difference. There's a lot of depth to your starboard wing.
Yeah, you have to do this, I find.
I believe in Japanese it's migi, just saying. And in Chinese it's yu su. Just saying. Just trying to be multicultural.
For starboard, for right?
Starboard is, I believe, migi in Japanese.
Migi?
Yeah. And in Chinese, it's yusu.
I barely speak English. So again, you're just lathering this on. It looks horrible, but...
So as we're filming today's session, well, you'll see it whenever it appears on Garage Doing Models and Robert posted, I'm off to the Land of the Rising Sun for a month. And so I'll be doing a couple of filming over there for some episodes to bring back. So
yeah, I gotta give you a list. So bring a few.
What you want. Yeah.
Bring a few empty suitcases.
Yeah, but I'll be going to the southern parts of Japan. Osaka, Fukuoka, Kagoshima, and Okinawa. So hope to visit some sites there, military sites, battle sites, and some hobby shops. So stay tuned.
When you say battle sites, that would be
like Okinawa, World War II,
what do
you call Hacksaw Ridge, all those places.
So you're actually going to go to that? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I got the rope already. I'm going to climb it. It's like I did at the Alamo. I waved the Canadian flag and said "Viva Canada," but that really wasn't well received.
Yeah. Very nice.
Are you leaving that center section without oils on purpose, or are you going to cover it too?
No, I'm leaving it.
Oh, well, okay.
And the reason is that even if, because the oils may leave a bit of a patina, but I want this to kind of stand out because it's a bit of a raised surface, right? And there's very little. Oh, actually, there is.
There's a bit, yeah. Because I find that and by the way, correct me if I'm wrong, Dave. You really must do this over a gloss finish.
Oh
right?
yeah, it has to.
If it is a semi, that stuff will just sink right in. It'll be hard to remove.
Well, then it's
right?
It's going to get into.
It's a filter,
and never mind a matte.
Right. Forget the matte.
Yeah.
It'll become a complete filter.
Yeah.
It changes the whole tone of your model.
Yeah, you don't want that.
Not for the better, I would say.
No.
If you're going to do a filter, I would stick with like a filter type enamel on purpose on a completely flat surface as one of your first techniques. But I don't know if you have to, right?
No, I don't. Filters. I mean, the only thing you'd want to do a filter on is on individual panels.
Yes.
I think just to make them.
Agreed.
Right.
Agreed.
To give them some depth. Like, you don't do it on the whole model.
No, I wouldn't.
No,
absolutely. And I would do that on a flat, and I would do that as one of my first layers.
I mean, you could. I'm going to say you can't. But I don't know what you get. I don't know what you get from it.
No.
Okay, so.
Gotta let that dry.
I gotta let that dry. So we'll do the same thing. We'll hit it with a hairdryer, and then we'll come back and remove it. Okay, so now it's dry, and you can tell it has more of a matte finish to it. Which again is another reason why I like using these guys. Again, you can use the oils out of the tubes, like the Abteilung or Winsor Newtons. But
I was just thinking. Sorry to interrupt.
You got to bleed them on the cardboard.
I'm looking at what you're doing now, and I know you're going to wipe it off and see. You don't realize that. If you wanted to do one of those distressed, abandoned aircraft and airfields, you could just and dab it. Do you know what I mean? And leave the muck on the wings.
Yeah, you could.
Right? Just a thought.
Yeah.
It looks very nice to wait.
I thought you were going to say you could just enter it like that. You wouldn't do any worse than if you entered it.
Well, that's true.
Your best.
Yeah, you need all the help you can get.
I need all the help I can get.
Well, so by the way, you did well at the Nats.
I did okay.
Yeah. 5 bongs? 5 bongs?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, got a first and 4 seconds.
Nice.
And you did well too.
Yeah, I did okay. Yeah.
So
I can't complain. But I'm going to start doing less and less building for Nats. I don't have to. I'd rather.
The problem is you enter it. So I just getting back. I'm just wiping this back.
Yeah.
Same thing.
To the airflow.
And the other thing too is it's always nice to have something you can manipulate the model with that's not part of the model itself. So I just inserted this brass tube with a little bit of tape. I mean, it's not the most stable thing, but it works.
I usually get my wife to hold the model for me when I do.
Poor Shirley.
Well, here come the comments again.
Put up with you. And just wiping it back. And a nice thing, because again, going back to the gloss coat.
And you left this area a little untouched with the oils. Is that what you did?
Yeah, but I don't know if it made how much of a difference it made.
You could always go back with that one to wipe even more off if you wanted to keep the oil off it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
So this is coming off pretty good. So, again, a little bit in the rivets, not much, but really in the panel lines you can see it, and in the. So that looks pretty good.
Looks good.
I'm happy with that.
That's a neat looking airplane with a neat scheme.
Yeah, I love the Leaport Ks, and the K is their best 109. Mm-hmm. Like, and here's not to bitch about Edward, but I will. So all of the 109s, when the lower, so their previous Fs and Gs, mm-hmm. all have like a V-shaped join here. So this joint, this is a panel line here. So it joins right up to here, or maybe it's this. I think it's this panel line, or sorry, maybe it's this panel line. So this goes all the way back here and joins. But in previous ones, they've had like a V, like which doesn't follow any panel line. So I don't know why. Like, why not just build it right back up to here?
Oh, I see.
And then you just have this to fill, which is a lot easier than trying to fill a V.
Yes. Right.
Like I'm like. Yeah, like, and it was right, and it was lower down, so it was right, and so you have to redo all of this.
Like, yes, right.
So I don't know why it took them to the K series to figure that out, and I think they got it right for the 72nd scale Gs. But anyway, just the minor.
Do you know if Tamiya did it the same way? Or?
No, Tamiya did it smart.
Okay.
Or gosh, no, maybe
I have it. I don't. I have their 172nd G.
Actually, I don't know.
I don't know. Remember. I should check it.
Maybe the.
I'll let you look. I'm not a 109 expert. I'll bring it.
I've got one downstairs. I've got a.
Yeah, because
I'm working on, because that's the one I would enter in the Nats.
With the Tamiya.
The Tamiya one. Yeah. Because the landing gear is like perfect. Like everything's perfect. You just slap it together. Mm-hmm. Not as much. There's no rivet detail, but who cares?
Yeah.
Because you can't really see it.
No.
That's the one I would enter. Like that's
Do you know what? Do you realize I've never built a 109? Ever. Dave.
It's okay. Well, I mean,
ever.
But you're not a German.
No.
You're Japanese.
Well,
that's your thing, right?
Well, yeah.
Like I'm a German guy, and I've only built I only built a Tiger for the very first time in my entire life in the last year. So.
I'm working on a couple of Chinese nationalist stuff, though. I like.
Well, they're kind of German.
Yeah. I'm working on one of their Boeing. Was it B-10?
There we go.
So done?
I would say that is done. So we'll let that. So before doing anything, you got to let this cure for a day or two.
Yeah.
Right, because you got to let this dry, settle in, and then the next step will be to put a semi.
Yeah, agreed. You got to protect it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah. See, there's imperfections in the paint here.
Now, what would you use? Well, you'll deal with it later. What would you use for your semi finish?
Good question. So. I've got.
You like the which one you using? That's nice.
So this is the 190 Ace. Sorry, A7 from Edward. That was really kind of a bit of a test bed. So I'm starting to work on streaking.
Nice, it's beautiful.
So this one I used the VMS.
I knew you were saying that VMS.
But I don't know how happy I was with it.
Really?
Yeah, because I had to kind of. Maybe the way I applied it, like I have to kind of take it back down with just a bit of a buff.
Yeah, right.
To maintain a smooth surface.
No, that's acrylic, right?
That's acrylic.
Yeah.
I might go back to using Tamiya.
Yeah, you know
Maybe?
what?
I don't know.
If Tester's Monomaster is watching, can you guys bring back the Acryl gloss, semi-gloss in flat, please? I like those. Those are discontinued.
You can see here, right? Mm-hmm. Where this is where I damaged.
Okay, you're out, man.
Right there. I damaged right there. So I have to touch it up with paint, but you can see it. Now maybe under a semi-gloss or like a slightly...
Where's it? Let's see.
Right there.
Yeah, I wouldn't even display it at the Nats. It's embarrassing.
It is kind of... Yeah. So, but something like that will just kill you.
No, yeah.
Like you're done.
Yeah, you're done.
You're done. Like, it's not happening. So...
you could... How are you going to fix that? Could you mask it?
Well, I did already, but then so I sanded it a bit. But
it's not
like it was. I mean, it's better than it was, but it's not perfect, and you can still see it.
Right.
Maybe it disappears under.
But then,
coat.
While we were doing this, Robert, our film director, just showed us a beautiful period photo of Luftwaffe crew applying what appeared to be wood. Robert, wood. To do that.
Wood masks.
Which means that if you put a piece of wood over it, I would think you're going to get bleed under that. It's not tape.
but in scale, you're not going to see
Yeah,
it.
well, that's what I'm saying.
Like
It's
from
never,
when
it's
you're
never
looking at
going
it
to
from
be.
this, you're not going to see.
It's never going to be perfect, is what I'm saying. If you look at Hinamaru, some of the late war, it's not perfectly round. It's rough. So get a picture and show the picture.
Pictures are worth it. I mean, they're nice. Like they're worth 1,000 words in terms of defending your model.
Yes.
So
what's next?
Next will be just general like exhaust staining, oil streaks, which again I'm piloting on this, so expect to see some of this.
I got to do a Falkwolf.
And the new Edward Falkwolfs are gorgeous. Like they had their initial series that they released, which were a little bit over engineered and kind of fought you a little bit.
Have you got to their zeros yet?
No, I have a bunch, but they're beautiful.
Yeah, I have
they're beautiful. And I got their P-51B. I love it. I started off with aircraft when I was a kid.
I started as figures.
And I'm just better at. I invested more time in armor, but I love it. It's a great. I love the.
Did I tell you I bought my first ever P-51 Mustang? I bought a Mustang model.
Oh yeah,
because I'm typically Japanese and Italian.
Yeah, it's nice to do something different.
Yeah,
it's fun,
I got a Mustang.
Right? It's fun. Don't enter it in the show though, because you won't.
Although I did do that Mustang for Romer. And,
that's right. That's right.
Yeah, but he was at the Warriors Day parade yesterday.
So. He made it, eh? Good.
Yeah,
how old is he now?
102,
wow,
something like that. He was the first in the parade at the Canadian National Exhibition riding in a Jeep.
That's awesome.
Yeah, still got my model in his cabinet.
Love it. That's the best, right? If you can do something like that, that is awesome. Well done, Harv. And that's a beautiful model too. Very weathered and a little bit controversial in that.
Yes,
regard.
It was. Yeah,
but
But he's got
it. I thought it was stunning.
Yeah, he's got it. Maybe we'll do an episode on that since I never really showed it at a show. It went straight to him.
Yeah, we could do. Yeah. That'd be fun.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, listen. I think that's it for today's episode. So we'll come back and do kind of the final touches on this. And just get through this. What's been a bit of a laborious.
But only the decals, ish. Well, did you have?
No, the decals.
There was some fit issues.
No, the finish. Nothing. The only thing is I got to figure. I want to position this with the canopy open. I got to figure out how to do that. That's very delicate.
Beautiful.
Landing gear I got to do, but yeah, the decals really kind of threw me for a bit of a loop. So
beautiful German aircraft.
Yeah, I don't think I'll peel them again. No peeling.
I won't even try. I'm sorry, Edward. I stick to your old fashioned.
Yeah, I mean it's too much.
But maybe, like I say, one person's poison, right? So we're not saying they're boo boo. So I've heard some people use them well.
Yeah, and they swear by them.
So there you go.
But I just
try them yourself.
I struggle with them. So. Okay. But that's it. That's the beauty of the hobby, right? Whatever works for you. It's all about what you like, what you enjoy.
That's right.
And that's what it's really all about, or should be all about. So So until next time, take care, everybody. Be well, and we'll see you in the next episode.